Hi all, I'm Amrita Patil and today we are going to see interfaces in Java. Till now we have covered multiple concepts of Java. Today we are going to see what is interface. Interface is nothing but a blueprint of a class which is having static constant and abstract methods. It is similar to the class but not exactly same as the class. In the interface we are having the methods and the variables, the methods which are abstract one, okay, not the normal methods, but yes, we can have the default and the static methods in the Java 8 about Java 8 version. But normally in the interfaces we have the abstract methods and the variables which are static and the final. Okay, so by using the interface, we can achieve the abstraction and the multiple inheritance. As we know that multiple inheritance is not supported in the Java, but with the help of interface, yes, we can achieve the multiple interface. Also, we can achieve the abstract. Why abstract? Abstraction because we are having abstract methods in the only abstract methods in the interfaces. Okay, so in the interfaces we are having is a relationship. Okay, now one by one we will see what is the syntax of the interface, how I'm going to write a interface. Okay, so first we are having the access modifier. Okay, after that, we are having the interface keyword, then the interface name. Okay, like we declare the class, like access modifier, then class keyword, and then the class name. With the same for the interface, we are having access modifier, interface name. Okay, in that, in the curly bracket, I'm going to have the constant field, that is the variables, and the methods which are abstract by default. I don't need to give a specific indication that it is an abstract method. I don't need to write the abstract keyword when I'm declaring a method in the interface. It is by default public and by default abstract. Okay, and in the method declaration I'm going to have return type and the method name with the parameter list if I am having. Okay, and then the variables. Okay, so type of that variable, the final and the final variable name. Okay, and yes, in the interfaces we are having, as these variables are the final, so I need to give some values to the that variable, so that in the implemented classes I can use that value directly. Okay, as these are final and the static, I can access that variables in the implemented classes. Okay, now we have seen the what is the syntax of the interfaces. Now we will see if I am going to implement that interface in my class, then how I'm going to write that class. Okay, so simply class, whatever the class name you are having, then the implements keyword. Normally, if I'm having, if I want to use a particular class in the other class, that is the in case of inheritance, I will use the extends. But in case of inheritance, in case of interface, if I want to implement a particular interface in my class, then I will use this word implements. This will show that the interface you are going to implement some interface in your class. Okay, implements, then the interface name, whatever the interface I want to implement in my class. Okay, and then in the class, the class own variables and methods, and compulsory the overridden methods. That means the methods which are in the interface which I am implementing, that should be in my class, that is that are called as the overridden method. Okay, now as I said, the class can extend a class by the extend keyword. Interface, in if I want in my class, then I will use the implements keyword. Now, if I want to I wanted to have two interfaces which are also having the is a relation in between that. So how I will going to do that? By using the extend keywords. Okay. So if a particular interface A, you want to inherit some of the properties of another interface, then that can be done by using the extend keywords. Okay, for the class and interfaces, for both, we will use extend. But if my class is going to implement the interface, then I will use the implements keyword. Okay, now, variables in the interface. Okay, what is variables in the interface? Variables are declared in the interface are constant. Okay, these variables are public, static, final. Public, why public? Because they can be directly accessed uh, throughout the all the classes. Okay, next, static. If as the interfaces cannot be instantiated, because interfaces are same as the abstract class, we cannot instantiate the abstract class. Like same way, the interface which I am declaring, that cannot be instantiated. Okay, so if I'm not able to instantiate a particular interface, then how I can access the variables in that? So for that, I need to use the keyword static. And as I cannot modify that variable values, so I will declare that as a final. So, so how the variables will be declared? Public, static, final, whatever the variables name along with the value. Okay. Next, the variables in the interfaces define a certain fixed values for implementing the classes. Okay. So as I said, it is having a fixed values, which is a final one. Okay. I cannot change that value later. Okay, interfaces can define the constant that act as a enumeration. Okay, so in enumeration, what we do, so we declare a particular enum type. So same I can do in the interfaces. Okay, so nested interfaces. If suppose I want interface inside the interface, that is called as the nested interface. An interface can be declared as a member of a class or the another interface. I can use the interface instead of declaring a separate interface class. Okay, I can use that particular, or I can declare that particular interface in my class or in my other interface. Okay, it is also called as a member interface. A nested interface can be declared as a public, private, and a protected. Yes, it is having a provision that you can use them as a public, private, or a protected. For example, if suppose I am having a class A, public interface, nested interface, I am giving here the nested interface, and I am directly giving the implementation inside that. That is the, in the nested interface, I have boolean some method. Okay. Now, if suppose I'm having another class B, which is implementing, I want to implement the nested interface in that. So how I can do that? Class B implements A dot nested interface. Okay. How I can access the nested interface? By the name of the class, or if I'm defining that I'm declaring that interface in the another interface, then I can give the name of that interface and directly I can access that. Okay. And in that class, I need to override that method which is in the nested interface, right? Okay, so why we use the interfaces? Because interfaces are similar to the abstract classes, right? I can in interfaces I have abstract classes, okay, but before that I can have the abstract methods in the in my abstract class also, right? So why do I need to have the Java interface? Okay, the benefit of the interface is that the interface enforces a particular common contract, okay, which will ensure that the class implementing that interface will adhere to the same structure. That is, suppose I want a particular template to be followed in the implementing classes. So for that, what I will do, I will place that particular methods which I want, which I will give the other classes as a template. So for that, I will group that particular methods in the interface, okay, instead of abstract class, okay. And the interface will promote the code consistency, maintainability, and the flexibility in the software interface. Okay, in future, if suppose I have I have one class. In that I have a certain method, certain variables. Okay, but in the future, if suppose a client requirement is something to add in that class, okay, or some specific template he want to follow, then what I can do, I can have a interface, Java interface, and I can put all the methods in that, so that the next methods which are the classes which are implementing that interface can add them in the further implementation of their development. Okay, also interfaces make loose coupling between the components. Okay, if I am placing a whole methods in the class, that will give a tight coupling, but if I am going to use the interfaces, then it will use loose interfaces between the components. Interfaces can help to enforce a design by contract. As I'm giving a template in the interface, so it will enforce a design by contract approach. Okay, for that I will use Java interface. Okay, so as I'm saying, there is a some difference, that is interface is like the abstract class and all, but what is the exact differences between the abstract class and the interface? Okay, so for abstract class I will use the abstract keyword. For the interface I will use the interface keyword. The variables in the abstract class are static or non-static. Okay, and in the interfaces the variables are compulsory static. The methods in the abstract class are abstract, as well as I can have the concrete methods. But in the interfaces, I can only have the abstract method. But yes, after Java 8, we can have the static and the default methods also. For the abstract classes, I will have all access. I can use all access modifiers. But in case of interface, I will only have the public access modifiers. In the case of abstract class, the inheritance is using by extents, while in the interfaces, I will use the implements. Abstract classes are faster compared to the interfaces, or you can say the interfaces are slower comparative to the abstract class. When I am going to use the abstract class, when I want to avoid the independence, okay, but if I'm going to consider the future enhancements, then I will go for the interface. I hope you have got the differences between the abstract class and the interface. Now, before going for the advantages, I will go to the program. Okay, so the practical. So I have the package interfaces. In that, I am declaring a interface stack. The whole program I am going to show, that is how the stack is implemented. Okay, why I have declared, I have taken the stack as an interface, because in the stack I know I will have only two methods, okay, push and pop. Okay, so in the interface stack I'm going to have two methods, void push, okay, and integer pop. As the interface is in the interface, I'm having the methods which are in the interface are by default abstract and the public. Okay, so public, abstract, in the system internally, the JVM internally, it will consider as a public abstract word push and public abstract int pop. Okay, so push is to insert the element, okay, with one parameter, which element I'm going to insert. Then the pop to remove the element. Okay, next I will have the class stack implementation. Okay, so in the class stack implementation, it will have the it will implement the stack. Okay, stack implements. It is having a variable SDK array. Okay, it is an integer array and private integer top of stack. Okay, so in the constructor, I will initialize that array, integer array, to the specified size, and I will initialize the top of stack to the -1. Okay. Next, if I'm implementing a stack interface, then I need to compulsory override these two methods, push and pop. So for the push, public void push the integer the int atom. Okay. If top of stack is exactly equal to the stack array dot length -1, that is If the stack is full, then I have to print the message system.out.println stack is full. Else what I will do, I will put top of stack, okay, with the integer array, and I will assign the item to that top of stack. Okay, this is the functionality for the push. Okay, now in the pop, what I will do, if top of stack is less than 0, that is the stack is overflow, underflow, not overflow, underflow. Okay, I cannot pop if it is at the end of the stack, then I cannot remove the elements from the stack. If it is not underflow, then what I will do, return stack top top of stack minus minus. Okay, so this is the pop. Okay, then this is the main class where I'm initializing the stack. See here, I cannot instantiate the abstract. I cannot instantiate the interface. What I can instantiate, the stack implementation class. Okay, where I am implementing the stack interface. New stack implementation with the size 2. Then I will um, put some elements in the stack by using the push method in the for loop, and after that I will print all the items in the stack. Okay, so for the time being I have not write all the code for the push and all. So one by one, taken the user input, put that one, pop that one. So normally I have done like this static implementation, you can see. So it will print stack in the my stack one. So it is having the element 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now the stack of the top of the stack is 5. But after that, I can pop in the system.out. I have popped the element and I have removed. So right now in my stack there is nothing. Okay, right? So now we are going to see what are the advantages of interfaces. So interfaces achieve the abstraction. It supports the functionality of multiple interface and it achieves the loose coupling. Also, one of the major difference is that I can go for the interface in case when there are multiple enhancement are going to happen in my project, in my development. So for that I will go for the interface. Okay, now we will test our knowledge what we have gained from this session. Okay, so what is the interface in the object oriented programming? So is it the graphical GUI for the software application, or it is a blueprint for a class that defines a set of methods that will be implemented by any class that implements the interface? Yes, is this? Yes. So what is interface? Interface is a blueprint of a class that defines a set of methods, right? Okay. And also not the third option, a data structure for storing key value pairs, that is in the map. Okay, not in the interface. Okay. Second question, in Java, which keyword is used to declare a class that implement a interface? So do I use class, interface, or the implements? Which keyword I will use? Yes, implements. Okay, the next question. What is the primary purpose of using interface in the software development? Create the object and instances of a class? No, because in the interfaces I cannot instantiate the in that particular class. Yes. To provide a way to group related classes? No. To define a contract that specifies a set of methods that must be implemented by the implemented classes? Yes. The interfaces will provide a contract that specifies a set of methods that must be implemented by the implementing classes, right? Okay, now some of the questions, short answer questions. What is interface? Can a class in Java implement the multiple interfaces, and if so, how it can be done? Yes, so in Java we can have the multiple interfaces, comma separated. Okay, so if I want a particular class which want to implement a interface A and B, so how I will give class, okay, the class name implements A comma B. So that is how I can do for the multiple inheritance. What is main purpose of interface in the object oriented programming? So we have seen the advantages. So for that are the main purposes why we use the interface. Okay. Okay. Thank you. Happy learning.